gotta fight to win. Fight to win. Fight to win. I'ma say it again. You gotta fight to win. Fight to win. It ain't over till it's over. It's about to begin. I'm so dedicated.
Good Monday morning. Thank you for joining and tuning in to Endie Fiya's Monday Motivation. This is your man Causso, the My Struggle is My Strength motivational speaker. I hope that everyone had a great weekend, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm super excited that football is back. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we finally get to see some touchdowns, man. I've been waiting on this thing for a long time, even before the pandemic. But I hope your team won. Hope your team won. My team is still trying to recover from the biggest upset in Super Bowl history. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't gonna name no names, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And before we get started, I'd like to thank Endie Fiya for giving me this opportunity to speak. You can tune in to her show at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays for music, entertainment, news, and daily inspiration for everyone. That's right, guys. You can go to Blog Talk Radio /Endie Fiya. That's ENDIE, and Fire is FIYA. You know what I'm saying? Check it out, guys, and tell a Causso sent you. Last week was week 1 of our new series called Faith, and we broke down the word faith. You know, we talked about what faith is, and we said that faith is not a religious word. It's actually a principle or a law that you use, and once you appropriate this concept to your life, you could then have access to the benefits of abiding by the law. So, what is faith? What is faith? Faith is, I'm just saying this. Faith is just simply believing in something that, although you have yet to see the evidence, you still believe that it will eventually come true, right? So, for example, I told you guys that I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and like right now, I'm currently using I'm currently using certain aids, you know, such as a walker and a wheelchair. But however, you know, I am like currently training to run a marathon, and you might even say, like, how is this even possible? How is this guy that's in this wheelchair and using, you know, this walker and cane and stuff, how is he able to do that? Or why would he want to do something like that? And it's just like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like, I just believe that one day I'm gonna walk independent of those aids. So I had faith. And so faith is my foundation, and my foundation is just believing. I believe in the what seems to be impossible, you know. But you know, this week our focus is going to be on unwavering faith. Unwavering faith, right? Like, there's times in our life, especially right now, you know, that we're going through this pandemic, and I just believe that we are being tested. You know, our faith is being tested, and you know, sometimes you just have to take a chance, and you know, you have to just step out and walk out on what's been comfortable, and just take a chance to believe that, you know, what you're walking on will sustain you. You know, like, could it be possible that, you know, most of us are living our lives within the confinement of certain boundaries and fences, and I said fences and parameters. But you know what? Don't miss what I'm saying. You know, boundaries are good if, you know, as long as they're in the right context, right? But some of us, we miss our biggest opportunities just playing it safe. You dig what I'm saying? Like, you're right there in the middle. You know what I'm saying? You're taking a break. You're sitting on the fence, and you know sometimes you're on this side, and other days you're on the other side, and some days you believe in the possibilities, and you know, on other days, you know, you don't even see how it's even possible, right? And you're right there in the middle because it feels safe. You're right there in the middle because you're comfortable. You don't want to give your all because you are maybe you're afraid and maybe you don't believe on some days, and then doubt sets in, right? Because we know for a fact that a double-minded person is unstable in everything. I mean, in everything. And this type of person has unwavering faith. A person with wavering faith is like the seas and the winds that have no stability, right? For the waves are at the mercy of the wind that seems to be driven and tossed in every way. So when we look at the ocean and when we look at the seas and when there's a great wind, where the waves begin to pick up and then they become choppy, right? The waves are at the mercy to the wind. And that person that wavers is described just like that because they're tossed back and forth. Wavering means to have no stability. And that's the issue with a lot of people. And I'll be the first to admit I'm not exempt from this. I deal with this, but when there's a problem or when we experience a laborious circumstance, we run to this and we run to that, and we run to things to try to relieve us from that problem or circumstance. But running to those things and using those things are not going to they're not going to solve the issue. They're going to be a temporary fix. They relieve the symptoms and they don't get to the underlying problem. And the only way to have some kind of stability is to be anchored and attached to something that's unshakable, to something that's solid and firm, and something that's unmovable. And I found that the only thing that's unmovable and unshaken is the Word of God, right? But you know what? Most of us are unwavering because we get distracted and we lose focus when all hell has broken loose. You see, a true depiction of peace is not the absence of chaos. It is in the ability to remain calm regardless of whatever circumstances is going on, right? Because what we try to do is we try to kill or stop the noise, but you're focused when you don't need or when you don't let external circumstances like get in your way of you trying to accomplish something. So what has to happen is you have to be intentional, and you have to create some kind of system that helps you drown out all the noise. And let me tell you, the number one enemy of focus is distraction. Because distraction is anything or anybody that prevents you or prevents someone from giving your undivided attention to something, right? And the biggest lie that has ever been told is that getting money or getting the quote unquote bag is the ultimate goal in life. This seems so obvious on the surface because our society, it screams this philosophy in our face every day. I mean, you see it on the commercials. Every celebrity is doing it. Getting a new car, and even homes dangle that carrot of success right before our eyes. And if we're not careful, we will find ourselves consumed with doing whatever it takes to get to the celebrity status and obtaining those material things. So the bottom line is this. We all have to work at being focused. This is not something that comes easy, right? So the question I have for you is, what are you focusing on? Like, what really has your attention? And I believe that we shouldn't put anything before us that you don't want in you. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't put junk food before you if you don't want the junk in you, because you are what you eat, right? And the seeds of what we hear, and the seeds of what we see, and the seeds of what we say, they will start to germinate and start to grow a root, and before you know it, it will become we will become a depiction of that. So that's why it's so important that we are intentional and purposely guard those gates. Because let me tell you, you can't be distracted by something that doesn't arouse your senses or sparks your interest. This type of distractions are personalized by your own desires. Like what affects one person or what tips one person may not tempt or may not affect you. So it's personalized to your own passions, your own desires. And the second place of distraction comes from your own dissatisfaction. Whenever you're dissatisfied with your circumstances, your focus is broken, right? And your focus is broken because of the dissatisfaction inside of you. And lack of satisfaction leads to frustration. And the more frustrated you emulate, your emotions become torn and pull in other directions because of the frustration. And the frustration is rooted in your own dissatisfaction. The key is this. The key is to figure out what is the underlying cause with your dissatisfaction. Because when you ignore it and when you sweep it on the rug and you kind of act like it doesn't exist, you become more and more frustrated. And the more frustrated you become, the easier it is to distract you, because your passions become shifted and your focus is placed somewhere else. And I think we have to shift our focus from finding joy and happiness from external things and finding it on the inside of us. That's why whatever circumstances I find myself in, I have learned to be content. You dig what I'm saying? Like I've learned to like really be okay with where I am, while I am transitioning to where I'm going. I've learned to be okay with where I am and with what I have. While I do the work, I have to put in the work to obtain what I want, right? So as we're recapping, to waver means to have no stability. That means that the waves of the ocean are at the mercy of the wind, because the waves are tossed, because of the wind, they're tossed back and forth. And if we're not careful, we become unstable, and we become double-minded. Broken focus makes us unwaver. What breaks our focus is distractions. And the number one enemy of distraction is focus. Distractions are anything or someone that prevents you from giving your undivided attention to something. And we said that the first place we get distracted is by our arousal of our senses, the things that get us, the things that tempt us, the things that get our attention, that get us off track. And the second place of distraction is what comes from our own dissatisfaction. This is your man Causso. Follow me on Instagram at ms_is_ms. And join us next week in the continuation of our faith series. This will be week 3. So guys, don't forget, set your clock. Make a reminder on your phone for week 3 at 7 a.m. I hope that everyone has a great week. Please, guys, continue to stay safe, and please continue to wash your hands, sanitize your hands, and wear your mask. And remember that saving lives starts with you.